Hello, namaste, assalamu alaikum, welcome to For Us. And 2 days of the T20 World Cup 2022 and two huge upsets. You might be thinking, dude, Namibia's a great team. Dude, Scotland's a great team. But I gotta be honest, Sri Lanka and West Indies not beating both of those sides was a huge shock to me. Sri Lanka losing by 55 runs to Namibia after Namibia bowled out of their hearts, man. Fantastic. Players like David Wiese didn't even perform with the bat, but bowled really well. The fact that Namibia continued their form from last year's T20 World Cup into this one. Yes, they played cricket in between, but I'll be honest, didn't watch much of it. So I didn't know what I was expecting coming into this particular T20 World Cup, thinking, okay, Sri Lanka's probably going to beat Namibia, and then let's see where it goes from there. But Namibia pull out all the stops, right? The way they batted.
Jan Freilink.
44 of 28, and he was that middle order batsman that they genuinely required to stabilize the ship and get them to 160. They made like 70 runs in the last 5 to 6 overs, which tells you genuinely Sri Lanka messed up at the death. And Sri Lanka had one of their best sides. Yes, Madhushanka got injured, not in the side, unfortunate, but the rest was pretty much Sri Lanka's best side they could come up with, and they lost the plot.
Bowlers.
Their middle order still has an issue. Their top order, unfortunately, has more issues now, okay? Which is crazy because I thought Nissanka and Mendes were the best opening partnership they could find. Yes, they did really well in the Asia Cup, but here they just didn't fire as well. You have players like Gunatilaka, who I always thought of as an opener, but they want to play him in the middle order, and he's not performing as well in there, right? And then you've got Dasun Shanaka, and you've got Rajapaksa, or Wanindu Hasaranga. Hasaranga didn't do much, but Shanaka and Bhanuka were like those two guys that maybe they could pull it off, but even they couldn't get the ship from sinking so deep that they lost and got absolutely hammered. The net run rate is almost -3. It will be very difficult for them to make it back from here and finish at the top of the table. All right, they need to win both of the rest of the games at a canter to be considered to going into group one now at this point. We talk about UAE versus Netherlands, and I thought Netherlands was going to coast this, and they did not coast this. Yes, UAE struggled on that pitch, and the same mistake that Sri Lanka made about going at it full pace right from the beginning rather than getting used to the pitch, going too hard too quickly. UAE made the same mistake, and they only scored 111. But then, with the ball, their spinners, be it the young kid, Ayan, right? Be it Zahoor Khan, who bowled spectacularly well, right? Economical, precise, accurate, all that good stuff. But whoever it was from the UAE end, they bowled their hearts out. And yes, Netherlands won at the end. But I would say that was that was such a good match. I expected that to be an easy win for Netherlands after Netherlands restricted UAE for 111. But dude, impressive as anything. And then today the day that West Indies will want to forget literally as soon as it happened. They lost to Scotland. And they didn't lose to Scotland by like 10 runs or 15 runs. They lost to Scotland by over 40 runs. Batted pretty much throughout the innings. Scored 50, 60 odd runs. And I was like, yeah, but he's going at only 110 strike rate. But that's what they needed. That's what Scotland needed. And it looked like West Indies were going to chase this down. But I'll tell you what, when that innings began, it didn't look like West Indies was going to chase this down. The partnerships kept decreasing in their length. Not just time, but also the length of runs, the number of runs scored in each partnership. It just kept going down until Jason Holder came in, right? I think only 3 players reached double figures in the West Indian batting lineup. The bowling from Scotland was sensational. The one bowler I thought was going to be dangerous as anything, Sharif, he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy who was the super dangerous bowler. It was the fact that every other bowler picked up multiple wickets, right? West Indies went too hard once again, and they just couldn't get back into it. They did go a bit hard. They did try and build an innings, but unfortunately, after the opening batters or even the top order went, West Indies until Jason Holder looked like they could not buy a run. And last but not least, yes, we've talked about surprises and shocks, 2 huge shocks in my opinion, with Sri Lanka losing their first game and West Indies losing their first game. But the only certainty I had, even with Netherlands and UAE, I thought Netherlands was going to win, but I didn't think it was going to be this close. But the only sure shot thing I thought prior to the game between Zimbabwe and Ireland I was like, yes, Zimbabwe has been great. Yes, Ireland's been great. In my head, Zimbabwe was the side that was going to get the win. They won by almost like 30 runs or something like that. And that was largely due to this one man who has been on a tear for like a year and a half, Sikandar Raza, be it whichever format he plays and he performs for Zimbabwe. And that is great news for them and it's great news for this T20 World Cup because he scored an 82 of 40 odd deliveries, took 1 for 22 in his 4 overs. Then you've got Luke Jongwe. Yes, he got smashed today, but Muzurabani jumped in. You got Ngarava. I believe the bowlers just bowled spectacularly well from Zimbabwe. And with the batters, I think Sikandar Raza, that's where you got to stop it. Sikandar Raza is an absolute beast, right? They post 170 odd. And Ireland, the team that I thought maybe, I think I predicted Ireland and West Indies to go through from Group B, but it doesn't look that's happening because of the way Zimbabwe played, but also the way Scotland played against West Indies. West Indies does not look like the West Indies that I expected them to. But to be honest, it makes sense with the way things are going. I urge you to listen to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. They've done multiple videos on why West Indies might not even get into the Super 12s. But yeah, man, this has been an adventurous, eventful, actually very, very exciting 2 days of the T20 World Cup. And I cannot wait to watch the rest of it. Thank you so much. Please do leave your thoughts about all of this. Comment section below. And see you next time. Bye.